Assalamualaikum dear students, hope you all are fine and in good health. Welcome to Zoom online class. I'm your science teacher and today we will do the revision of new chapter, that is solution and suspension. So student, first of all we will discuss that what is solution. So solution is a homogeneous mixture of two or more substances. Like, what is homogeneous mixture? The word homo means same. A mixture which has uniform composition throughout its mass is called a homogeneous mixture. You cannot see the particles of a homogeneous mixtures as well, right? Like if you add a little salt to a water and stir it, the salt will disappear. We say that the salt has dissolved and form a salt solution. So a solution is a mixture of two or more chemicals in which the molecules are evenly dispersed or scattered. So you can say that when you add a salt in a water or a sugar in a water, they will form a homogeneous mixture. Like in the picture you can see, if you add the salt in a water, you cannot see the particles of the salt in a water, so it is a homogeneous mixture. Similarly, when we talk about the air, so air is also a homogeneous mixture. Why? Because air is also a mixture of oxygen and nitrogen. So there are many gases are present in the air and you cannot see the particles. So it is also a homogeneous mixture. Now let us discuss about the components of a solution. That what are the components of the solution? So as we have discussed that a solution is a uniform or a homogeneous mixture of two or more substances. So the components of solution are solute and solvent, right? So let us discuss that what is solute and what is solvent. So chemicals such as a salt which dissolve are called solute and are said to be soluble. The liquid they dissolve in this case, like water, is called the solvent, right? So students, solutions are mixture in which soluble particles are completely dissolved in a liquid or a gas, and they are made up of a solute and solvent. We will use an example of a coffee here. So we will use coffee as an example of a solution. The substance that dissolves is called the solute. In this example, the coffee granules are solute, and the substance that does the dissolving is called the solvent. In this example, the hot water is a solvent. Now let us discuss the characteristics of a solution. As solution is a uniform or homogeneous mixture of two or more substances, now let us discuss about what are the characteristics of a solution. So first is that the visibility. The particles of solute in a solution cannot be seen by naked eye, right? And then another characteristic is the mass. The total mass of solute and solvent is equal to the solution. Third one is the physical change. No chemical change is involved between solute and solvent. They are combined physically. And the fourth one is the passage of light, that the solution allows the light to pass through it. Let us discuss about that why is water the universal solvent. Like many substances will dissolve in water, at least to some extent. That is why water is often called the universal solvent. Like you see river and lakes, water dissolve minerals from the rocks through which the water has flowed. The minerals are mainly salts of calcium, magnesium and sodium, and the water is called hard water because compared to rainwater it is more difficult to get a lather with soap. You can see the hardness in the water if you look inside an empty kettle where the minerals form a coating on it. So why water is called a universal solvent? Water is called universal solvent because it dissolves more substances than any other liquid. Like if you take examples like fish can live in water because it dissolves a small amount of oxygen gas. We use water to dissolve sugar, salt and spices in our cooking. Water can also dissolve detergents, and we also use it to make drinks such as tea or coffee, etc. When farmers and gardeners spread chemical fertilizers on the soil, rainwater dissolves the chemicals so that they can be taken up by plants' root. Sometimes crops such as tomatoes and strawberries are grown in greenhouses without any soil. Instead, the plants are grown in a solution of mineral salt plant food dissolve in water. So water is widely used in the industry in the manufacturing of food, drinks, textiles, shampoos, soaps, detergents, and cements and concrete. When we think of a solution, most of us think in terms of a solid that is dissolved in a liquid. There are, however, other types of a solution, like air is a solution of gases like nitrogen, oxygen, carbon dioxide, and other gases. Like fizzy drinks are a solution of gas like carbon dioxide, and solids like sugar and flavoring in the water. So that they are the three most important acids that are used in the laboratory. They are the hydrochloric acid, nitric acid, and sulfuric acid, and are all solutions of gases in water. So antifreeze used to stop a car engine from freezing is a solution made by mixing two liquids, that is ethylene glycol and water. Here is another thing, that is an alloy. An alloy is a solid solution of two or more metals. So you have to learn this definition. The metals are melted and then poured together in the right proportion and allowed to cool. So what is alloy? Alloy is a solid solution of two or more metals. Brass is an alloy. So brass is an alloy of copper and zinc. Similarly, bronze is also an alloy, and bronze is made up from copper and tin. Let us discuss about solder. Solder is also an alloy, and it is an alloy of lead and tin. When air fresheners or perfumes is sprayed in room, we have a solution of a liquid in air. So students, you have to learn the definition of an alloy, that an alloy is a solid solution of two or more metals. So these metals are melted and then poured together in the right proportion and allowed to cool. So as I have told you that there are examples of an alloy. So the first one is brass. Brass is also an alloy, and it is an alloy of copper and zinc. Another example of an alloy is bronze. So it is an alloy of copper and tin. And another example for the alloy is solder. So it is also an alloy of lead and tin. So students, let us discuss about the uses of water. That what are the uses of water, as many substances will dissolve in water at least to some extent. That is why we call the water as a universal solvent. So what are the uses of water? We use water for drinking purposes, for washing hands, even for brushing teeth, and for taking a bath as well, and for cooking. And water is also used for watering the plants. So there are many uses of water as well, right? We can see that fish, that as I have discussed, that the fish can live in water because it dissolves a small amount of the oxygen gas. Fish takes the water in through their mouth and force it through their gills passage. So gills, like our lungs, are full of blood vessels. As water passes over the thin walls of the gills, dissolved oxygen is transferred into the blood and then transported to the fish cells. Water is also widely used in the industry, in the manufacturing of food, drink, textile, and in the shampoo industry. Also, water is also used in the soap industry, even in detergents, and in cement and concrete industries. So there are many uses of water, like and water is also used for the drinking purpose, like when the cooking food, extinguishing fire, like when you have to take a bath, water is required, and even for washing clothes, water is also important. So now students, we will discuss about the solubility. So the solubility of a solute is the number of grams of that solute which will dissolve in 100 gram of water or some other solvent at a particular temperature. So what is solubility? Solubility is the solubility of a solute is the number of grams of that solute which will dissolve in 100 gram of water or some other solvents at a particular temperature. Like most solids, they dissolve better in hot water, your hot solvent, than in cold solvent. So gases, they dissolve better in cold water than in hot water. And the liquids, they either dissolve in water when they are said to be miscible, or they do not mix with water when they are immiscible, and the changing of the temperature does not affect it. So the solubility, what is solubility? Solubility is basically the solubility of solute is the number of grams of that solute which will dissolve in 100 gram of water or some other solvent at a particular temperature. So dear students, hope you understood all the lecture. Thank you so much. Stay home, stay safe.